Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om, I bow to the Lord Vasudeva. Joy to you, friends. In stanza 64 of chapter 2 of the Gita, the man of perfect self-control is able to act in this world unaffected by it. Inwardly free from attachment and repulsion, he has attained unshakable inner calmness. Now, what we need to do, no matter what happens, this is not an easy thing to learn, but whatever happens doesn't affect you. As it says earlier on in chapter 2, water cannot drown the ego, the true self. I mean, fire cannot burn it, wind cannot dry it up. You cannot lose anything once you have attained this inner centeredness in the self. The self is not the ego. As long as you are identified with your ego, so long do you have the feeling that whatever happens, happens to you. And you want success for yourself, which means that you will glory in that success and you will grieve when you don't have success. You will glory when you get what you want. You will grieve when you don't get what you want. You will glory when people like you, admire you, applaud you, etc. And you'll get upset and angry if they insult you or deprecate you or in any way try to make you out to be less than you think you are. The best way to find peace of mind is to simply give up being identified with this ego. And it's a very important practice throughout life, simply not to do anything that will emphasize in your own mind your ego. For example, when people insult you, if you get upset, you're being hurt twice, you might say. They've hurt you, now you're hurting yourself. Why not simply thank them? It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what opinions other people have to you. It seems to matter, but it doesn't matter to your true self. You can have all sorts of ignominy, and yet if you will remain inward in the self, then nothing can touch you. And so Krishna is saying, remain even-minded under all circumstances. That means that it doesn't mean that therefore you don't care if you do a good job. It means that you do your best, but you don't think of it as you doing it, and you're not doing it for yourself. We have to act, and we have to do our best. You want to pass your exams, don't you? And the way to pass your exams is to do well, whatever you do. Do it conscientiously. Do it, if you're a painter, try to paint well. But don't think in terms of comparison. I'm better than he, which as soon as you have that thought, you'll have the other thought that, well, maybe he's better than I am. There'll come that uncertainty, that insecurity. Whereas if you are really secure in yourself because you're calm and indifferent to what other people think of you, then you will find that always you are at peace. Remember, that same self is in all. And if that same self in somebody else is not appreciating what you're doing, then what you do, instead of reacting and saying, why did you treat me like that, or why did you talk like that, think calmly, is this something that I need to change in myself? I want to be good, I want to do well, I want to do as best I can in everything. And when people dislike anything in you, then just impassively, impartially, examine yourself. If they're right, thank them. If they're wrong, well, thank them for what, at least in you can interpret as their goodwill in telling you, even though it may not be their goodwill, but thank them anyway. I have found that by doing so, that I can do everything much better, because I'm trying to satisfy the supreme judge, which is God. And I know that he always loves me no matter what I do, and therefore he can think of, he can tell me I've done a bad job, and I'll just wait for him to help me to do a better job. But what other people think of you and how they speak of you doesn't touch the real you. It is this temporary you that you carry with you for countless incarnations. What we want to do is get out of incarnation. We want to get out of that which brings us back repeatedly into suffering. The greatest thing you can do for God is to bring other people, as well as yourself, out of suffering, to teach them those things which will help them to understand, where does suffering come from and how can I dissipate it? Where does it come from? Not from other people, not from the world, from your own reactions to the world. When you can learn to even your reactions so that you don't get excited when things go well, and therefore don't get depressed when things go badly, but always refer everything back to the joy in yourself. That is who you really are. There was a child in our Ananda community here who, after a race with children in the neighborhood, was asked, "Did you win?" He said, "No, but I won against myself." That was a very good answer. It made me happy to think that we have such a community that can teach children these values. Because to win against yourself is the only real victory that is possible. So whatever you do, give the fruits to God. Say you are the doer. But then in yourself say, I will do the best I can, but I know that it's not I doing it. I'm not going to be involved in the victory of it. I remember when I was a youngster running down a football field all excited because our team was making a home run, making a touchdown. What's the point, Nick? You win a game, then you lose a game. Then you win a game, then you lose a game. This whole thing is, life is just like sports. Happy one day, down the next. I've won today, yesterday I lose. What does it matter? I played football in college. It was because everybody who was fit to be in the Army was in the Army, and I was a little too young. But anyway, I remember my favorite play. We won every game, and it had nobody scored upon us, so we were untied, unscored upon, and unbeaten. And I remember one play where I was to run interference, and there were these two big bruisers coming at me on the other side. And I thought, well, I'll never take them both out. We only had 30 seconds left to play, and our runner was doing an end run. And I tried to take out one of them, but at that moment, my shoelace had come untied, and I tripped over it. So I sprawled headlong and took them both out, and we went for a home run, for a touchdown. And our team was all thrilled, and they were all congratulating me. And I said, look, it was a complete accident. I didn't do it. They wouldn't accept that. They wanted to feel that we had really won on our skill. But fortunately, I just wouldn't accept that. And I was perfectly happy to not have really done it with my will, although my ego would have wanted that. But what does it matter? Truth is what we are looking for. Truth is what we need in life. Be truthful under all circumstances. Never claim for yourself not only what you have done, but everything. Claim that God did it through you. And you will find then that even when you make mistakes, He will lead you gradually to doing things better and better. So, joy to you.